Welcome to Bespoke Diaries. Today's article is on In the Grand Scheme of Things, by Mya Kwan, founding partner, TYCOON, Experiential Learning Tool, Hong Kong. In the face of adversity and great adventure, fatigue and emotions got the best of her. There was a moment of doubt. Does he want to keep trekking? What is the point? This was one of the most intense hiking expeditions of her life so far, with the most elevation gain in a limited time frame. Mount Rinjani, 3,726 meters, is the second highest volcano in Indonesia on the island of Lombok. Within the crater are the Sagara Anak Lake and the still active volcano Gunung Baru, 2,363 meters. As educators who have been focusing on facilitating challenging experiences in the outdoors, Maggie, a colleague and dear friend, and she recently took on a project to develop a female-only outdoor experiential learning program. We decided to go on a workation with an adventure to challenge ourselves and refresh our minds about what rising above adversity means to us. Over her 2-year instructing career, she brainstorms, design, and deliver all kinds of courses to provide the best opportunities possible for the participants in their self-discovery journey. It was time to create for herself. She shall stretch her comfort zone and grow further as a facilitator, mentor, and role model, bring back inspiring stories for our loved ones and the community, expand her knowledge and toolbox for future education development. Traveling to Lombok took 16 hours including 2 flights and a 3-hour car ride to the cottage. After merely 4 hours of sleep, we were up again to meet our guide. So the 3-day 2-night trekking journey began. Day 1, ascent to Simbalan Crater Rim, 2,639 meters, sunny, hot, and dry. Most of the trail was exposed. Between the heat and the lack of sleep, it wasn't an easy start. After about 2.5 hours of walking, we reached the lunch spot and enjoyed a longer rest. In the afternoon, the ascent got steeper and we reached the campsite 4 hills later. The view? Magnificent sunset. We sat on the ridge to watch the sun sink behind a nameless mountain sitting above the lake. We witnessed a sea of clouds come and go, boiling upwards at times, and floating with the wind at times. Day 2, the alarm went off at 2 a.m. Here we go, the sunrise summit, 3,726 meters, the only thing we could see was a trail of lights from people who had started walking. From afar, it looked like ants marching one by one, in good order, to get to their very target of the morning. Some sections looked really steep, but little did we know what was waiting for us ahead in the dark. The terrain, ashy and sandy with pieces of rubble, is out of our familiarity. We got used to it quickly and managed, especially since it was still early. Fast forward to about 3 hours later. We were looking at the summit less than 500 meters away, yet it would take another hour to reach. As she battled the steep incline, wind, and fatigue, lifting her legs became a burden. He was tired. There came a moment of doubt. Does she want to keep trekking? What is the point? Thoughts and emotions overflow. The word greed haunted her. Rinpoche Speaks, a short film she watched in April, talked about the destruction caused by too many people climbing the Himalayas. You think and say that climbing mountains is good, that you will gain something from it, he says. But climbing mountains is also a form of greed. Remembering the Rinpoche's interview, she solemnly wondered, are all these people who come to Mount Rinjani to get a piece of the view and sense of achievement reaching the summit greedy? In her eyes, their actions caused serious consequences to the environment. Parts of the rest stops and campsites are filthy, trashed, and even reeked of human feces. Even though cat holes are dug, how many can you dig before you run out of space? Some of us are good deeds. We know how and try our best. We carry our own rubbish and leave as little impact as possible. But the reality is, with the number of people coming through, one candy wrapper left by each person is enough to drown our beloved mountain. Right there, right then, she felt that powerful message from the Rinpoche. Is she greedy? It hit her hard. What is the point again? She asked herself. She lifted her head to stare at the summit. At this point in the game, she must keep going. This has been nothing short of amazing, and the point is for her to bring back this profound experience and realization to contribute to caring for the people and the world around her. One step at a time, she said to herself, literally. The next thing she knew, she reached the top. She is finally here. She did it. She persevered. Looking back at the heavy breathing at high altitude, the sweat, the sliding on ashy terrain, the wind, the dust, the concentration, the sleepiness, she doesn't want to walk anymore. She burst into tears uncontrollably. It was never about how unique the destination itself is, but about how special the adventure is to yourself. Words alone cannot describe how much this means to her. Maggie and she hugged, admired the sunrise, took some photos, and carried on. Descending the same way back was no easier. We were essentially sliding down ashes and rubble for the most part. She felt like a child again, enjoying some sand slide with a stunning view of the lake, volcano, farms, clouds, and the horizon beyond. Now that the sun is up, we can see glorious details of the landscape, a natural lava maze, stairs formed by tree roots, and some very slippery sections where we played dry skiing. 3 hours later, we were back at the campsite feeling sleepy and exhausted. Although we have trekked for 7 hours, the day has not ended. After some food and rest, we continued to descend for 3 more hours to get to our next campsite by the lake. We celebrated the day's end by our lakefront tents, took a bath at the natural hot spring nearby, ate some good food, and went to sleep by 8 p.m. The day was long and intense, but fruitful and meaningful. Day 3, descending 2,000 meters to Sinaru village up at the crack of dawn, we were on the move again by 7 a.m. Compared to the previous 2 days, the first 3 hours of ascent seemed easier. We were especially grateful for the shade, it made a huge difference. Every now and then, we turned around to admire the view of the crater lake, and our breaths are repeatedly taken away by every angle. Even though it is the same scene whether from the summit, close up, or the other side of the crater, perspectives change at different times and places. No matter how tired she is, she reminded herself to be thankful for this opportunity. Standing on the Sinaru crater rim, 2,641 meters, we took a last glance at the volcano sitting calmly on the lake and started the descent through the rainforest. It was intense. She feels every step down the slope, the pounding on the bottom of her feet, the impact on her knees, thighs, and back. She has come this far, and this is the last stretch, she told herself. It was her first time walking through a rainforest, and she felt nature speaking to her. The contrast between the giant trees that are so tall she can't see through the leaves and patches of moss living on wood logs trying to make it made us reflect on our lives. In the grand scheme of things, came to mind. It is cliché but true. In the middle of the rainforest, we are such small individuals swallowed by nature. Suddenly, the so-called problems seem less problematic. By sunset, we were back at the hotel, limping. Ha ha. It felt a bit surreal actually. Has the expedition really ended? The breathtaking and rewarding trek that consumed our energy and muscle strength is completed. It took her a few hours to settle down to the fact and adjust to hotel living again. We spent the next few days exploring nearby areas and letting the experience sink in while working on the new program proposal. Our workcation ended on a highly satisfactory note, a cup of hot dark chocolate. Through violent storms and peaceful dawns, we find ourselves in balance. Anonymous. This limit-pushing expedition enriched her in many ways, particularly as a participant. It is sobering to realize once more how unexpectedly challenging journeys can be and how profoundly they can affect individuals. Since we returned, she has been sharing these thoughts and raising questions. What is the point? Is it greed? In the grand scheme of things. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For similar type of article please reach us at contact@thebespokediaries.com, or you can visit our website www thebespokediaries.com.